This is one of a series of discussions of the PANdora distance education projects, which have been taking place across Asia since 2004, sponsored by the IDRC. One of the projects has been a policy and practice survey in Mongolia and China, two neighbouring countries but very different indeed in their approaches to distance education. First of all, Zamar, as project leader, can tell us about the objectives of the project.
Okay, firstly I would like to introduce our project. The general objective of this project is to evaluate distance learning in Asian two countries and to develop policy recommendation. The specific objectives are firstly understand current status of distance education and review distance education policy, evaluate of distance education implementation, evaluate the use of technology and media, investigate the benefits of distance education for disadvantaged groups such as women, disabled people, people in non-social economic class, learners in remote area, share experiences and their lessons. Next one is proposed stages of distance education reform and recommendation of future development for policymakers and practitioners. So the project research has following status. First step is sequential analysis to country back to country, that's Mongolia and China. Afterwards we focus group discussions for policymakers, administrators, teachers and learners. Next objective is design and validation of four instruments. It's policymakers, administrators, teachers and learners. It's design to guide and policy pilot test and reliability analysis. It's next one is the main study and data collection and analysis. We have developed the policy recommendations for improving distance education. The policy recommendations have three levels in two Asian countries, Mongolia and China.
May I invite Professor Chen Li to talk about the survey methodologies that you used in China and Mongolia?
I think that we used the same methodology with the AMAR in Mongolia. We finished the literature research with a report, and then because there are two kinds of the business learnings in China, two levels. One level is the university level, another level is the K-12 level. So we set up two sub-teams, and we did the same survey on the different levels, and we do the document analysis, and then after we translate questionnaire from the Mongolian to Chinese, and according to the local situation, we revised the questionnaire, and we keep most of the questions from the AMAR's questionnaire, but we added some questions suitable for local situation. And then we did some interview with the policymaker and with some administrator and some tutors and some staff some students, and then we used the questionnaire to do the survey. So the conclusion and the recommendation for the policymaker in our final report are separated into two parts. One is the conclusion and the recommendation to the policymaker on university level. Another is for the K-12 level.
Could you comment on the recommendations you would now be making to the government and the professional organizations in your country? Just take us through this slide and the next one. There are about 6 or 7 points.
The first recommendation is because there are many learning programs being delivered to the student by website. But most of Chinese students are very used to traditional teaching and learning model. So they are not very suitable to learning online. Not only learning online, learning by themselves. So it's quite important for the Distance Education Institute to develop student self-learning abilities and so far feel this kind of program to be delivered to students. So there are lots of complaints from the e-college. The e-college supply a lot of very effective, the support service online. Few students use it, but they complain there are not enough good learning support functions. But in fact, they use them very few. So it's quite important for e-college or e-institute to supply this kind of program to train students how to use the online functions and online courses to realize their deep level learning. The third, it means that the development of the number of students is too fast. It's too fast, more faster than the development of our education quality insurance level and the staff level. I can give you example. Some e-college, only 40 staff, the full-time staff, and there are some part-time staff, but maybe less 100. But there are 24,000 students. So it means that if you have not enough many staff, so it's quite difficult to supply high-quality support to students. So we suggest the policymaker to control the student numbers. In our policy, the China central government does not allow the e-college to set up their own learning center. E-college has to work collaboratively with one of or some of the local education institutes. So in this way, teaching and learning quality is not very high because in some local education institutes, there are not enough qualified teachers. Even the teachers' education background is higher, the tutors in the local learning center, but they have not enough experience on distance learning. But the relation between the local education institute learning center means and e-college are business collaboration. So it's quite difficult for the e-college to measure and evaluate or assessment the tutor from the local education institute working quality. So that's why the recommendation is the central government should allow e-college to set up their own learning center like Open University in UK. And the last recommendation means even online web platform can supply very, very good functions on interaction between teacher and student. But in fact, the instructional design on the e-program, there is no enough activity to push the student and the teachers heightening interaction. So what I mean is the interaction between teacher and students are not very effective because teachers do not design this kind of activity. So there is virtual community, but few students come to that community. Few teachers come to the community. So the interaction between the teacher and students are very weak.
Well, thank you both very much, Professor Chen Li in Beijing and Professor Amar Saikan from Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia for describing the Pandora project, which has involved policy and practice recommendations in Mongolia and China. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.